This is Worst Journalist of the Year, Don Lemon, Worst Journalist of the Year. With going on 3 years now of personally witnessing Don Lemon's world-class ability to be impossibly incompetent at everything, everywhere, and forever, I was nevertheless somewhat surprised to read the August 2019 New York Post article, Don Lemon sued by Hamptons bartender for alleged assault. My surprise stemmed from the fact that, although I am genuinely amazed Don Lemon can make it from his bed to his car in the morning without choking to death on a piece of plastic he mistakes for food, and I'm saying, I think he's pretty fucking stupid. My surprise stemmed from the sheer absurd unbelievability of the events described in this article. My initial thought was, this has to be some kind of false flag setup to engineer a desperately needed win for a guy who is sitting 0 for 3. Entire year's worth of content in a row. I was, at first, certain that this accusation would fall apart in the way the Kavanaugh one should have, leaving Worst Journalist of the Year Don Lemon, Worst Journalist of the Year, victorious in pretend demonstrating that, yet again, he was an innocent victim of the vast right-wing conspiracy. But then I got to the part of the article where CNN, not Don Lemon, but Don Lemon's handler protecting him, actually bothered to put out a statement. Quote, the plaintiff in this lawsuit has previously displayed a pattern of contempt for CNN on his social media accounts. This claim follows his unsuccessful threats and demands for an exorbitant amount of money from Don Lemon. Don categorically denies these claims, and this matter does not merit any further comment at this time. Notice, if you will, that nowhere in this weirdly brief statement is a single reference to what happened, how ridiculous it sounds, and how it was clearly, obviously untrue. Instead, the very first thing CNN does is attack the character and credibility of the accuser. In other words, CNN's lawyers see the biggest problem in this accusation as a jury actually believing what the witness is saying. We immediately know that Don Lemon was at the bar, because otherwise that would be the end of things. We know something actually happened between Don Lemon and the accuser, or that would have been the end of things. And we know by the way they finish with, never mind, and try to literally run away, that this accusation might for real be a big problem for Worst Journalist of the Year, Don Lemon, Worst Journalist of the Year. So on that note, that this, or something close to it, might have really happened, from the New York Post, quote, a former Hamptons bartender says in a new lawsuit that Don Lemon assaulted him after the CNN host disgustingly fondled himself at a local watering hole. Okay, hold on. Dustin Hice says in his Suffolk County Supreme Court suit that he was slinging drinks in July 2018 for the Old Stove Pub in Sag Harbor when he and co-workers decided to go out for drinks after work one night. The group headed to Murph's Backstreet Tavern. Not surprised. The group headed to Murph's Backstreet Tavern in Sag Harbor, where Hice told the Post, I see out of the corner of my eye, it's Don Lemon there too. I had 2 beers, maybe 3 at most, Hice recalled. I said, hey Don, let me buy you a drink. I turned to Nick the bartender and said, hey Nick, let me get 2 vodka lemon drops, and put 2 fingers in the air. Don was sitting with 2 or 3 other people, and he looks at me and goes, I'm just trying to have a good time, man. I said, oh, okay, sorry, and that was it. I absolutely wasn't hitting on him whatsoever, I said of Lemon, 53, who is gay and married. I'm a heterosexual male. Quick time out to appreciate that last fact, that if this story turns out to be true, then on top of all the gross, crazy shit you're about to hear Don Lemon did to a random person in a bar, he did all of it while cheating on his husband. Continuing, quote, as alleged in his complaint, Hice, 38, told the Post, about 5 or 10 minutes later, Don gets up, walks around the bar, comes up right up to me, and puts his hand down his board shorts. He rubs himself aggressively, his penis, and whatever else. He rubs himself aggressively, his penis, and whatever else down there. No one knows, man. No one knows. Lemon then, quote, shoved his index and middle fingers in plaintiff's mustache and under plaintiff's nose. And he goes, do you like pussy or d-? And he kept saying, your d-. He said it 3 or 4 times. I'm like, whoa man, what the hell? The accuser said he was so traumatized that he fled the bar and came back a couple of minutes later to find Lemon gone. I had to go back into work the next day, and by then, people all across town knew it, Hice told the Post. It spread like wildfire, and I had people coming in that week and ordering lemon drops and being like, give me 2. Infuriating and humiliating him. Hice says in his suit that he suffered severe emotional stress and loss of future earnings and opportunities, and is suing for unspecified damages. A Hice source said that there were talks talks about a financial settlement and that Lemon's side offered, quote, 6 figures, but in the end, the potential deal never materialized. CNN didn't comment on the 6-figure claim. As for social media attacks on CNN, Hice said, "I have never ever ranted about anyone, especially a news station. I am a private, religious man." You don't have to agree with Hice's version of the story, or even his decision to sue if it is true, but you do have to agree that the way he's going about doing so seems to definitely prove the existence and effect of karma. Quote, Hice's suit calls Lemon an Emmy Award-winning news anchor who, among other things, purports to be a staunch advocate for the Me Too movement. But when the cameras are turned off, Mr. Lemon's actions are in stark and disturbing contrast to the public persona he attempts to portray. Hice's lawyer said, "Just because my client is a straight man doesn't make this assault any more acceptable than if he were a woman. This lawsuit is sending a message loud and clear. If you are in a position of power, you cannot get away with sexual assault, no matter what the circumstances are." Whether or not this story turns out to be true, if it doesn't, come on man, and if it does, holy shit. Worst Journalist of the Year, Don Lemon, Worst Journalist of the Year, is kind of hard to sympathize with, given he's making millions of dollars off inciting struggling, stressed-out Americans to attack other struggling, stressed-out Americans on a daily basis. Getting Don Lemon off the air would be a good thing for everybody, including Don Lemon. I want everyone to know that while I clearly don't respect this glorified Krasenstein scam artist, I do root for his redemption. A 30 spot at the Hotel California might yet save him from his confusing addiction to sucking on everything. That everything. That's it for today. If you enjoyed this content, please like, share, and subscribe, and if you'd like to see more of it, consider supporting this channel through monthly or one-time donations or by purchasing a shirt, mug, or the new Feels Good Man album, all of which can be done at johnwardcinematics.com. Thank you for watching. I'm John Ward, and until next time, remember, you're a world champion. Don't let your memes be dreams.
She said, I'm a feminist man, I'm a fucking man-eater. When I'm not in theater class, I'm blasting through glass ceilings. My feelings are so seriously real, they are my steering wheel. I'm steering clear of any gentleman who get near me. You hear me? I said, yep, I've got it.